Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. So happy that you are joining us. We're going to give it like 30 seconds for everyone to come in. Today, we're going to be talking about how to sell out of your products by creating compelling displays. We are getting ready to go into one of the busiest parts of the spring season, which is prom and Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation. And so we here at the Navigator program wanted to present this to you. My name is Rosalind Rice, and I am one of the consultants with the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program. And it is in collaboration with the SBDC at FIU Business and also powered by the Small Business Administration, the SBA. The program is comprised of a lead hub at the center of a network of spoke organizations that deploy community advocates to work with small businesses on recovery and resilience. So there are a lot of assistance and support for you as a business owner. The Navigator program has a focus on minority businesses. So whether you're a veteran, woman, you are economically disadvantaged, socially disadvantaged, physically disabled, this program is for you. It is a goal to improve long-term economic recovery and resilience for small businesses. So these are all of the different organizations that are a part of the Navigator program. And again, a wealth of information and support for you on your journey of entrepreneurship. Our focus is to create a strong local community navigator. Sometimes it can just feel like the world is so large, but this is really focused here in South Florida network to assist socially, economically disadvantaged businesses with consulting, mentoring, and training, which we are hosting today. If you are outside of the South Florida market, you can reach out to us at the Navigator program to put you in the right direction of who you need to partner with. Here is a way that you can connect with us, our phone, our website, all of our social media handles. We also have a YouTube channel, which this presentation will be a part of that library of trainings for you. So let's get started. When you think about retail merchandising, this is a topic I get incredibly excited about. Within a matter of seconds, a prospective customer will make a decision about walking into your store, walking into your restaurant, or even visiting you at a table. Let's say if you are at some type of pop-up event, farmer's market, festival. So think about what compels them to visit you. What compels them to shop? What attracts them to your brand? And how can you just lure them in and convert that client or potential customer into a actual sale? So during this session, we're going to learn the answer to some of these questions. When you think about today's shoppers, and you can think about yourself, there is an overwhelming amount of options that you have. You can shop in so many different places. The buying behaviors have changed and they are constantly evolving. That is one of the beauty of really being a part of the Navigator program. We're able to give you that relevant insight. But when you think about visual merchandising, it helps remove the confusion for shoppers by attracting them to certain products. In return, whenever you have this very intentional effort in regards to your visual merchandising and you have efficient product placement, it will turn into increased sales. You'll be able to build new relationships that you'll be able to sustain and also retain loyal customers. Because at the end of the day, we want people buying our products, but we also want them to become evangelists. We want them to go and tell others about our products. So when you think about the foundation of marketing, In this session, we're going to talk about product. In regards to retail merchandising, we're going to talk about how you promote your events that you spend so much time actually planning. How are you going to be able to make sure you're pricing your product correctly? And then we're going to talk about the visual aesthetics of the place in which you will be setting up. So again, my name is Rosalyn Rice, and I have personally spent 25 years in retail at a corporate level. I've worked with some of the top retailers in North America. I've built strategies for years for some of the most sought after global brands, such as Michael Kors, Donna Karan, Tory Burch, Armani, and many, many more. And so today I want to pass along some of those learnings to each of you. So when you think about what is brand equity, because it's going to be important, first off, for you to do some deep brand work. Brand equity is the value of a brand from a consumer perspective, not what you're thinking that the brand equity is, but in the mind of the consumer, how do they think about your brand? It's the recognition, it's the perceived value, it's the customer loyalty and other factors. So when you think about Nike, who has this very high brand equity, you know what? Anybody can make a white t-shirt, but the moment that you put that Nike swoosh symbol on it, you're going to be paying more. There's going to be more value that the customer automatically assumes. And all of that is because of the equity of the brand. So before you do any type of event or you do any marketing, you want to think about your branding. Branding is not just developing a logo with a certain color palette, with certain fonts. You want to be able to gain clarity on your mission. So the mission is the reason why your company exists. It is the visible and tangible effect that you want your company to create for your customers in the world. So that's your mission. You also want to spend time thinking about the vision. The vision is what success looks like for your company. It is what you aspire to be in the future. So think about when you have this long-term destination. The mission is all about how you're going to get there, but the vision is what is the final destination of what it looks like. It is how the world will look once you've accomplished your mission. And then you also want to spend time as you're building your brand, thinking about your values. These are the guiding principles that will influence your actions, what you buy, what you post on social media, the type of people that you hire to be with you. But it is the actions to fulfill your company's mission and vision. So there are so many consultants that are able to help you. If you feel like maybe you're a little further along in your business or you're just starting out, you want to make sure you spend time thinking about mission, vision, and values. But as you start thinking about your target audience, right, you think about who's going to be showing up at these events, who's going to be showing up at your store, what location are you going to have your store? Think about the demographics. So just the basic, like what is their gender, what's their occupation, what's their religion, that will matter a lot. Sometimes even now in 2023, one of the ways people are what we call tribalism, think about their political landscape, think about their race and other things. But you also want to think about the psychographics of your, we call them, you can create personas, your buyer personas of who you think your target customer is. What are their fears and what are their goals? When I talk about their fears and goals, maybe they are wanting to live a healthier lifestyle and you're in the wellness business and you're going to create products that will help them live a healthier lifestyle, help them be able to have a Zen moment, have calm in their life. Maybe their goal is that they want to save money and you're going to have products or an app or some type of technology to help them with that. Or maybe it's that they want to spend more time with their kids and be more present. And maybe you have like a housekeeping services, or you might have an organizational business where you can come in and help organize their home. So you have to think about not just the demographics, but also the psychographics. What are their hobbies? What do they like to do? Where are they showing up on the weekends? Because that potentially is a place that you can market to them. The fears and goals of someone who is in retirement is going to look completely different than the fears and goals of someone who might be a college student. So it's the reason why it's important for you to do some deep work and think about your target audience. Know a little bit about their culture, know about their childhood experience. It all helps you connect with your target audience. I remember there was a time when I was working for a brand and they came out with this product and it was in the color purple. And in some cultures, purple represents royalty, but in other cultures, it represents death. So when we looked at how our sales were geographically, there was one portion of the country where it was not selling. And simply because we didn't understand that in certain cultures, one color can have a different meaning for different people. So it's important for you to know every customer is not your ideal customer. I know you want to sell to everybody, but that will have you constantly switching your strategies, which is going to cost you a lot of money in the long run and a lot of exhaustion along the way. So before you start really focusing on the sales strategy, spend some time again with our navigator consultants, understanding your brand, but make sure that once you do have your logo and you've done your brand work, you understand kind of the personality of your brand, that there's consistency with the colors that you're using, especially when you're posting on your website, on your marketing assets, your brand purpose, your commitment to customer logo, and your packaging. Don't forget the packaging. What are you going to put the product in once you sell it? So according to Forbes, your brand is the entire identity of your business. It's the personality of your business. For instance, if I'm a wellness brand, we talked about that earlier. I want to walk in and there is this zen, calm, very welcoming space. I might have a waterfall if I'm doing an outdoor event, just something to create and evoke that emotion of just calmness. But listen, if I am someone who is a personal trainer or I'm selling exercise equipment, I want to create energy. I want to have hype music. I want it to be loud. I'm going to have bright colors. So all of that will play into what is your brand. So just if you have any questions as I go along, definitely put them in the chat at the end because it's kind of hard for me to share screen and answer your questions. I will answer your questions the best that I can. So before committing to any marketing spend, cultivate time in your brand work, even before you spend money on your website, because with a strong brand, I promise you will get noticed. Potential consumers will start to recognize your brand. So some of the most recognizable brands are here on this page. When you think about McDonald's up here on the left, the golden arches, the French fries, they're known for their hamburgers. Then you have Nike, that swoosh. Like anybody else can have any other name on that hat, but the moment you put Nike and that swoosh logo, people will pay more for it because it has a high brand equity. Starbucks, listen, at the fall and during fall, during Christmas, a lot of people are taking pictures of their pumpkin spice lattes. They're taking pictures of their holiday cups that they're at Starbucks. It is a whole vibe. It's not just coffee. And then Apple, you walk into those stores, they are always packed. It's always interactive. There are a ton of people to help you. All of this is because they have spent millions of dollars to work on their brand, and it's consistent. No matter what location you visit, there is consistency. I will tell you, having worked for a lot of global power brands, there is very strict guidance on how they use their brand so that nothing will erode the trust and the value of that brand. So when you're buying something, for instance, at Chick-fil-A, right? We know a part of their brand, they are not open on Sundays. And there's an entire talk about core values. There is a reason that they do that. But anytime they might bring you something, so let's say they bring you some napkins or they give you your food and you say thank you, they're always going to say, it's my pleasure. And the reason for that, that script is a part of their brand. So it translates beyond logos. It goes into your employee handbooks, into your scripts that you're giving people who are answering your phones. because that "it's my pleasure" is a part of their brand promise. At Publix, when you check out, they're going to ask, did you find everything you need? Let me tell you, sometimes you don't find everything you need, but they're going to ask that question again because it's a part of their brand promise. So there are certain social activities that can improve brand value. If you have a company that is giving back to their community, that is a part of them in regards to them being socially responsible. But then there's other activities that people do that will ruin the equity of a brand. And we have seen on social media with certain brands, it's all about cancel culture, because we have a lot of activist consumers that are more concerned about what you're doing socially than it's all about people over profits. But I remember when Toyota had a huge hit to their brand equity because of major recalls that they were having. So I want you to know, as a business owner, how does this relate to you? People are going to want to do business with you because of who you are. Having that strong brand allows you to develop trust with your potential and current customers. So without a brand, there's very little to show for your business. Your brand carries over into every marketing asset. It could be a business card. It could be a YouTube thumbnail. It can be an IG reel, a website, a Facebook post, a Google ad. It could be advertising on TV with a commercial. You want there to be complete consistency with your brand. So let's now talk about the type of brands that build trust. Like, when you're thinking about your brand, you have spent a lot of times in brand development. You want to make sure that your brand is front and forward. This was an event that I was doing, and I made sure that I had a tablecloth that made my brand like front and center, as well as my website. And the reason is because maybe it's going to be busy the day that you're doing your event, and someone is just going to kind of walk by and maybe kind of get in touch with you later. Have your website, have a QR code, have something on that table that allows them to be self-guided through the table and able to contact you. Maybe it's your social media handle, but there are all type of businesses that can really help you with branding items. The way that consumers have the trust to come visit your display is because that brand is like cemented in their mind. So they're on social media and now they get to meet you in person. I'm telling you, you want to have that brand everywhere. Maybe you have a banner. Here it's just a tablecloth, but there's so many things that you can do to make sure your brand is front and forward. Also think about the type of music. When you're thinking about when you're at an event, you want to draw attention. So you want to have music, you want to have flowers. I find that having candy on the table is a great way to, maybe someone's shopping with their kids and their kids are screaming and yelling. I'm telling you, have a little piece of candy on that table. You can have that child occupied with the candy while you're trying to sell to the mom or the dad. But again, it matters who your target audience is. If their goal is to be healthier, maybe the type of candy that you have is sugar-free. Or if you're, having some type of food and your target audience is someone that's healthy, you're going to have a healthy alternative or something that might be gluten-free. So before an event, you want to make it easier on yourself. There's so many logistics on the day of the event. Create a checklist for yourself so that you know what to do a few days before to prep, to get everything ready by the door, to put in your car or your truck. And then the checklist of what you're going to do the day of, and even afterwards in regards to follow-up. Make it autopilot so that the next time you have an event, you're not having to start from scratch. Your brand is going to determine what type of attire are you going to wear. Many people will put their logo on their t-shirt. Maybe if you're serving food, you're going to have your logo on an apron. It just depends on the type of industry that you're in. But you want to make sure that your setup is going to evoke some type of emotion, because when you get to be face to face with your consumer, there is nothing like that consumer. when you're able to talk to them one-on-one, it brings a little bit of a softer side. When you're on social media, obviously it's just, your posts, your videos, but when you're face to face, it brings like a human side to your business. So how do you create a welcoming environment? I want you to kind of think about all of these things that's nurturing and cultivating. I will say, like, let's say you're someone who is a hat designer. I remember I went to an event during Kentucky Derby and there was a hat designer there selling fascinators. And it was important, one, that she had a mirror. Let me tell you, there's no greater way to lose a sale if you're selling some type of clothes or jewelry and you don't have a mirror for that person to see what it looks like on them. She also had a model, or if you don't have a model, if you don't have someone there that can actually fit the size of the hat or fit the size of the clothes, invest in having a mannequin, something that will show the consumer what it looks like while they wear it. So if it's not a model, maybe it's a mannequin, it could be a bust form. But do an audit of your environment. You want to make sure that you have a theme for the day. When you're doing a pop-up event, a farmer's market, a festival, you do not need to bring every single item that you own. You want to focus on one theme. So when you have that theme, let's say that you're focusing on seasonal newness and you're getting ready to go into summer. You want it to be bright colors. You want it to be where people are thinking about vacation and pools and swimming and all the things that you do during summer. On the other flip side of that, if it's going into fall, you want to have people like little display of like gourds and pumpkins. So people are starting to think about, even though it's hot here in Florida in the middle of what is considered the fall season, but you want to evoke that emotion inside of them. So you want to look at product placement. You want to make sure that your best sellers, what's the core of your business, is front and center in a prime location on your table. You want to make sure that your newness is called out for customers. If it's an event that you're doing every single weekend, I know people who do farmers markets and they're every single weekend, you want to make sure that your customers know what's new on the table. You want to have signage. You don't want to have to answer just these frequently asked questions of like, how much does this cost? How much does this cost? Have a pricing sheet. Have, if it's food, have what the food is. Talk about the different ingredients that might be in it for somebody might need to know, like if there is allergies. So you can say this is made with nuts and milk and gluten. So they don't have to ask you those questions. They can be self-guided through your display. You want to make sure that there's transparent pricing. And I would say on the day of event, try to use round numbers as much as possible. Meaning like price something, and I'm just using this as an example, $10 versus $13.59. Like it's just going to get so confusing. If there's any fees, you want to make sure that they know that you're adding tax. You want to make sure also that if you have food, there's expiration date, so they know that this was fresh made. You want to make sure you have the right amount of inventory. Ideally, you do want to sell out, but you don't want to sell out of your product within an hour of being there. You want to make sure there's lighting, especially if you have something in regards to where they need to see something small. So maybe it is jewelry, and you really want to have whatever that gemstone might be kind of pop. Think about the lighting. You don't want to be in an area where it's kind of dark and shady, and you want to be where there's a lot of natural light. The other thing that I will say to you as you are thinking about where you want to place your product, you want to make sure that you're placing your product and not cluttering up your table. And I'm going to show a few examples of these. Don't put a lot of crap on your table. Yes, you want to have props, you want to have lighting, but you want to keep it as clean. Let it breathe. Let there be air on the table. In other words, like if you're using flowers, this wellness example, and you have flowers and candles because you're setting the mood, don't allow that to overpower what you are actually selling. So think about location, 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 location. As you are setting up these events, this is kind of the first thing was branding. Second, location matters. Where you are positioned in regards to the event will have a direct impact on your sales. So determine before you get to the event where you want to be. If you're able to do a dry run through with the event organizer, if they're able to provide you a map of the area and you can pick where you want to be, by all means, do that. But I want you to consider the space that you need. Again, if you're able to ask for a floor plan, think about, do you need electrical outlet? Many of us, if our phones are going to run out of charge and that's how we're taking our payments, you're going to need electrical outlet. So think about that. Will you need access to water? Will you need to be able to wash your hands? Maybe you have a scrub and you want to demo it for the client. Make sure there's something, some wipes there, something for them to be able to wash off the scrub on their hands. Do you have access to Wi-Fi? Are you able to take payments? I can't tell you how many times I've popped up into an event, and if the Wi-Fi is off, my payment processing is not going to work. So you want to make sure you talk about all of these in advance of the event. Do a site visit the day before. Go and visit the week before if it's something that they're having continually. So you're able to look at the traffic patterns, where people are walking, what they see first, because you want to be right in the flow of that traffic. Listen, it's important to work with those event coordinators, those organizers, negotiate the best space, because if you're in a bad location, it's going to impact. When you get to the event, so this is like the day of, and you're at the event and you're so excited because this product that you have been making and talking about is finally getting ready to be showcased to potential consumers. You want to make sure that you capture, again, the best spot, but you also want to get there early. Like if they say be there at 11, be there at 10:30. Get there early so you have plenty of time to set up, but also start selling to the vendors that are already there. By the end of events, people are rushing, and although they might go to your table and say, hey, I want to come back and buy. Listen, the end of the event, everyone's exhausted, everyone's hungry, everyone's leaving. When you get there early, you're able to sell. Sometimes a high amount of my sales are done before the event even starts. So at the beginning of an event, everyone is fresh and filled with this energy. But honey, if you wait until the end of it, don't, like, people are ready to go home. So listen, as a seller, let's talk about you as a seller. Location matters. I want you to be confident in your product, but this is a time for you to sell. Location of your booth matters. Location of your display matters. But the location of where you are that day matters as well. So as the business owner, again, people want to do business with you. You're the owner. They're excited to meet you. Be visible. You have product on that table that is a solution to their problem. If you're selling wellness products, there is something on that table that is going to help that person feel refreshed and calm. If you have wellness products, there's something on that table that's going to help them sleep through the night. There might be something that you're selling that's going to help them with their pain levels. I don't want you to feel, I find this a lot with my clients, like, Rosalind, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be salesy. Listen, that's the reason you're there. You're at this event. You've spent the money to be a part of this event because you are there to sell, sell, sell. And they are there to purchase products from entrepreneurs like yourself. So imagine when the person says to me, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be salesy. Imagine that you're out and your friend gets cut and you got a Band-Aid. You wouldn't hesitate to give that person that Band-Aid, right? Your products are the solutions that they need. So don't you hesitate to telling them, each and every person that comes to your table, mention it. Even if they're like, oh, I'm just looking. No, I don't want anything. You find a way to start talking to them, make a comment about what they have on, make a comment about their clothes, something, so that you start talking and get them into your product. Merchandising is an investment. What's going to be important is that you display your product. And what do I mean by that? Listen, be confident. So don't be hiding. Get out front selling your products. But when you're thinking about your presentation, when you look at what's on the left, you never want product lying flat on a table at all. That's not how the customer will wear it. I don't even know where to start with that. Like, it's the jewelry is all over the place. You want to have on the right, you'll see there's a neck form. There's a way for the earrings to stand up. There's ring pillows. There's a bracelet bar. So you want to make sure that you're investing in the displays that will accent and highlight the beautiful product that you have. Maybe it's racks for your clothes, and you can like go to Target and invest in a rack for your clothes. For bracelets, bracelet bars. If you're selling clothes, mannequins. If there's any type of wearable item, sunglasses, makeup, eyelashes, jewelry, you want to have a mirror. It all creates an experience for the shopper. So even though you might be like, I'm just outside, it doesn't matter. You can create that experience for your consumer. The other thing is, if you have a book, you want to make sure that your book is on a stand. Do not lay it flat on the table. Again, you can see here, clothes on hangers. This is actually some scarves. If you're able to do it in a very kind of tactful way, and you have items that are folded, maybe it's one core item, maybe there's a t-shirt and you're folding it in all the different colors, that's a great way to display it. But when you look at that, I love that this is cold weather. These are products for the cold weather, and you have like that acorn there, so you know that someone is really thinking about the fall season. It's all about having a theme. You can bring an iPad or a tablet, and you can loop a video that talks about your product, that have these great images about other products, colors, fabrics that you might have. Again, you're gonna hear me say this over and over, bring music, but the music needs to be relevant to your brand. So you can't be out there playing some loud heavy metal music and you're trying to create a theme of wellness and calm. Like, that is going to not go along with the brand. So you will maybe play classical music or some jazz music. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of data that people are going to buy more with music. So it's the reason why when you go into a store, there's music. You go into a place like Express, they got club music because people are in there trying to find an outfit to go to the club. So you need to have music. Think about all the senses. Think about sight, smell, sound, touch. Also, think about, am I going to be playing hip hop? Am I going to be playing country? Am I going to be playing classical music? It all ties back to the mission, the vision, the values, as well as your brand. Create a floor plan, create what you want your table to look like, so that when you do that, maybe you set a table up in your home the day before, take a picture of it, so you know exactly how you want to set it up that day. And when you do that, it saves you time. It saves you money, and it speeds execution on the day of the event. Make it compelling. I love this display. Who doesn't understand that this is something that is marketing towards people who are in the market for baby products? You have the colors, you have the pink and the blue, you have the cake, you have the balloons. So create an experience for your consumers. The colors that you choose really need to match your theme. So again, it's important that you match your theme. Listen, if you're one that's selling flowers, I love these aluminum pails. I love the signage. I love how they have them not all just mixed up together, but categorized on all the different flowers. And then look at this food truck. Like, who wouldn't want to go over to this food truck that gives you like that carnival vibe? There's a great chalkboard that talks about all the items that they have. On the side, he even brings out just these fun flowers, pails, gardening, evoking this emotion for your consumer. So that's what you think about when you think about how do you present your product, but also the location that matters. So make it fun, like just have fun when you are going into your events. The other thing I want you to think about, how do you create scarcity? It's important that you don't put every single product out. Listen, if you don't take anything away from this call, do not put every single product out. It looks cluttered. You want to create scarcity. So if I have everything out and I see that in someone's booth, I'm gonna walk by because I'm like, you know what, they got plenty. I'll come back after I shop and look at other vendors. But if I only see one or two, it gives the feel or the illusion that there is a limited amount of the product. So you can see in this picture on the left, this is how you create demand. On the left, they got everything out. It's cluttered. It doesn't really evoke an emotion. But on the right, it's simple, it's clean. You have they're obviously selling candles. You have the 3 candles in the 3 different colors. There might be different fragrances. You don't need to have everything out on the table. Think about when you go to buy shoes, and I know I have some ladies on here and some gentlemen that loves to buy sneakers or shoes. They don't have every single size, every single color on the selling floor. What do? They go and pull it from the back, unless you're shopping at it like a DSW or one of those type environments. Keep the display area as clean as you can. Don't overpack it with a lot of clothes. You don't have to have every single size out. You want to tell a story with your products. Maybe it's a color theme. Maybe you're highlighting orange, or maybe it's a seasonal story and you're showing like your pumpkin and your different cinnamon and all those warm smells, like when it comes time for the fall. Showcase your top sellers, highlight seasonal newness. It's the reason why in restaurants, they're going to have a whole separate menu just based on seasonal ingredients that they have. You want to curate your assortment that you have for the day. Look at this display on the left, right? It is very cluttered. You can't find anything. You don't want to portray that for your consumer. But on the right, it's very clean. It's kind of the same color palette. They have it in order. Normally, you want to do left to right, lightest to darkest. You always want to end with the darkest, but bring the color palettes together. Your assortment that you're providing on that day should be a living, breathing, vibrant collection that is constantly evolving. If you're doing an event every single week, change it up. You want to make sure that on the day of, have some type of promotion. Listen, if people are coming to these outdoor events, they want some type of promotion. Maybe it's where you're bundling 2 items together at a special price. I remember when I was doing the Miami Book Fair, because I'm an author, I put together a journal that went along with my book. And when I did that, I priced it at one price. I used a round number. And so it made it easier for me just to sell 2 for the price of 1. Price your products so that you're actually able to make a profit. If you need help with that, you can, reach out to us. The consultants are able to help you. I help clients with pricing all the time. Make sure that your payment processing is convenient. Make sure if you're taking cash that you have change. Some people, they're going to give you a lot of 20s on the day of an event. So make sure that you've gone to the bank and have change. Again, you can add that as a part of your checklist. Create a focal point. So if I am in the wellness industry, man, how do I bring in flowers and a journal and a candle? So I get that client who understands wellness, or I want them to understand Zen. Create this focal point on your table. Keep track of everything you sell, but also keep track of everything you do not sell. Every interaction that you have with a client or potential customer, it leaves clues on what you should do next, clues on what you should not do next. Utilize your inventory management. Many of you will use Square or Clover or Shopify. They will track your sales by hour. That's so important for you to know. How am I selling by hour? What am I selling at the beginning of the day versus the end of the day? You also want to make sure that before the event starts that you're promoting it. Don't rely on the traffic that day. Let people know where you're going to be. Do an IG live. Let people know, hey, I'm here, weeks before. The reason why we promote our classes 4 to 6 weeks in advance, because we want to create momentum about it. When we're in our individual sessions, we're promoting our events. So whether it's ads, whether it's something that you do with a PR person, whether it's social media, email, video, adding an event on Google, if you have a Google My Business page, that is free. Put it out there in the universe so people know where you are. Foot traffic that day is not just going to arise. You must promote your event. Maybe you want to be interviewed on a podcast to promote it. Maybe you want to collaborate with someone who has a similar target audience. For instance, if I'm in the wellness business, maybe I want to partner with someone who's in the skincare business or a fragrance vendor. Word of mouth, social media, direct marketing, create private invitations so it feels even that much more special. Send out a marketing announcement to the clients that you already have in your database. Here's something for you as a business owner. You want to make sure that you're creating energy that day. You got to keep your energy up, honey. People want to see you be on that day. You want to rest well before. You want to hydrate. You want to drink a lot of water, eat a lot of vegetables and fruit, bring snacks with you, bring your iPhone charger, and keep asking why. Why didn't they like this price? Why didn't they buy it? Why did they buy it? What do they love? What did they comment on? What did they see first? And after you've done all that, make sure you close the sale. Make sure that your packaging, what you put the product in, like if you forget bags that day and they're walking around with all this product and all this stuff in their hands, they're not going to have a fond memory of shopping with you. So make sure that you have your packaging there, bags, so that they're able to carry their stuff, but it needs to tie back to your brand, your colors, the consistency of having your logo. Give them a marketing asset, put something, a little business card or something where they're able to, maybe it's a product and they run out. I can't tell you how many people, they don't have an after sales process. So they run out of stuff and the person doesn't know where to get that sugar scrub that they fell in love with. Put something in there so they know how to get in contact with you, and maybe provide a discount for them on the next purchase. Maybe upsell them to another item. They might have looked at just one item, find something else on the table to sell them. The last thing is create the demand that day, track your sales, close your sales. You also want to make sure that as you're telling them about the features of your products, don't just vomit all these features that many of them don't even know what it is. So if you have skincare and you're saying, oh, this has vitamin C and B and it is hyaluronic and the consumer does not know what that is. Like, stop yourself. Don't talk in your industry language, talk in layman's term. And by golly, do not use acronyms, because nobody outside of, you know what that acronym means. So features don't have a value, but once you tell them about once you tell them about the benefit of the value, that's when it starts to become valuable for them. So if I have a product and it has vitamin C, you can say, oh, the vitamin C helps with hydration. It goes skin deep to really help to brighten the skin. So I know you got an event coming up. Let me tell you, you want to walk in with this dewy, youthful skin. That's when it's like, oh my gosh, yes, I want that. Focus on the transformation that your product is going to provide for them. Let's say you're there and you have puppy products. You can say, hey, this puppy pad is going to keep you from constant and icky cleanups. Like, talk about the features, but also the benefits. Talk about some testimonials of how people have been able to use your different products. And listen. Ask a lot of questions, but also listen, because it's going to give you clues on what I do with my clients that are doing events, because I love retail. I always do hindsight sessions with them after they come back from a big event. Let's talk about what worked, what didn't work, what opportunities you had. We talk about sales highlights. We talk about product highlights, marketing, what worked in regard to the people actually coming to see you, customer service highlights, some of them good, some of them bad. So again, this is the way that you can get in contact with us to be able to schedule time, to be able to do hindsight. I just did a lot of hindsight sessions from Valentine's Day. It was a big selling period. There was one of my clients who's a florist, and we just talked through what worked, what didn't work. But I want you to think about, because many of us on here are retailers. I think that's the reason you took this call. Think about what's coming up: Mother's Day, prom, Father's Day, graduation. Employee Appreciation Day is tomorrow. Employee Appreciation Week, Teacher Appreciation, Nurse Appreciation Week. Think about all these things and how you can start providing products and talking about it on your social media. So I'm going to stop sharing and then just check our see what questions we have. Please, if you have any questions, you can place them in the Q&A. Let me know if any of you have any questions. If not, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to have this recorded. It is recorded, and we will have it on our YouTube channel. If you don't have any questions, I appreciate each of you being here and wishing you good success as you go out and sell those products. You can contact Jesus, and that is in the chat as well, his email. So have a wonderful afternoon, and we will talk soon.